conversation, right? That's respectful. That's showing that I care and I want to retain what they have versus just letting it go on and then going, wait, what was that? Right?
But
So,
actually, I'm kind of wondering how much would it help us to have a notepad strapped to our leg every day of our life? How much would that help us?
good walking. Like it doesn't slides right down, right? So it's not good walking. We strap it on after we strap into our seat,
Right.
but but think about that. Like,
Yeah.
how often are we dividing our focus when we really need to pay attention to both things? And the
Yeah.
fact that we'd get things done faster, we'd be more effective. And so it's the same thing like with the checklist. A checklist keeps us on focus,
Hmm.
on track.
Now you learned some of this in your military years. Did you ever think that someday you'd be talking about this and applying what you've learned there and bringing it into the real world?
So here's the little secret that most people don't know about me
Yeah.
is that I grew up really, really shy.
Now I've seen you on stage. From the minute you walk in, you are not shy at all.
It's a choice. The thing, we can be on autopilot and show up the
Mhm.
way we're wired, or we can choose to show up, to lead, to run our business, to perform our job. We can show up the way we choose
Right.
to
Was
be.
that hard for you?
Uh,
I mean, for military, you're here in command, you're taking command, you're doing all these different things, and now you're on stage with several hundred people, maybe even 1,000 people. You've had big crowds, I know.
yeah,
And then all of a sudden, you're on in a whole different way. Was that a tough transition?
again, it was intentional. It comes down to having that intentional focus, like this is what I'm going to
Yeah.
do. And the other piece of it, because people are like, oh, no way, I'm out. I can't do the nerves, right? So the fact is, it's not about me, right? It's about the audience and how I can move the audience through me, through my stories, through my stage, through my performance. And I think when we focus on I keep saying focus, but when we focus on that and the audience,
Right.
like it's not as nerve-wracking and it becomes, it's your purpose in that moment for that. The
Let
choice.
me jump in here because people may not be aware of who you are, and that's shame on them because everyone should know about Elizabeth. But you've flown air assault, you've repelled on training missions, you've been military intel, VIP pilot from the best of the best. You've been in very intense situations that also have top secret, do not unseal, I'm sure. But how did those experiences really help you to switch to now you want to help veterans, you want to help women, you want to help people with their life, that's intense lives now. We
Mhm.
all struggle. How did all that really mission critical stuff help you say, I'm going to focus on this?
I wish I could say I knew what I was going to do. No.
Did
I
you have a transition time of what am I going to do?
Yeah. So I did almost 8 years in the military, and then I was injured. So I was physically injured, honestly, emotionally injured. It was
Mhm.
not. It was not easy. It was not easy. Not just the transition part, but even just the service part. It was
Yeah.
not easy for me. And so when I got out of the military, I was broken. Like, and I'm talking like I had to be on autopilot for like a year and a half before I felt like my awareness shifted and I kind of like, oh wait, like I need to be more aware of who I am and how I'm showing up in my work. I mean, I had a job. I went in, I punched the clock, I did the work, I went home, I had my kid, I, eventually got married in that year. Like but it was autopilot. Like I had no awareness of myself in those situations of.
So an identity crisis, a bit of an identity.
Yeah, I think every veteran does,
Yeah.
right? So we get out of the military, like in the military, your housing is provided, your community is provided, the community, your unit becomes your family,
Yeah.
food is provided, everything's done for you. And then you get out of the military and it's like, what? And then added on top of that, I had a physical injury
Yep.
and I also had some emotional things like a
Mhm.
little, oh, I don't want to, it wasn't as severe as PTSD, but I had some emotional baggage that I was handling coming out. And then I was a single parent, and then I'm getting a job and moving. I moved to Texas where my dad was in the area. So I had some family, but I didn't really have a lot of support. So like it was, it was survival mode. And I think there are times in all of our lives
Right.
we get into that survival mode where we're just like, okay, I'm just going to paddle. Like I'm just going to stay above water because this is all I can do right now. But we can't stay there forever.
No, you have to move on.
Right? You have to find yourself.
Yeah.
In that. And that's the piece that I eventually did. For about a year and a half, I found myself. I still work in the corporate job, but when I found that self and I started working on my own personal development, my professional development, I started showing up more actively in my job and being proactive. I got promoted, and then I got promoted again, and then it's just like I ended up going over like within just a few years ahead of a whole department, and versus just doing the job. It's just a different.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different mindset of yourself and awareness of what's going on around you and how you are.
That transition mentally. So let's just talk about the mental side for a second. I mean, I've gone major life trauma myself. Mentally, that was the most exhausting part for me. Mm-hmm. How was that for you? And what can you tell our viewers about that mental challenge of that was then, this is now, and you're somewhere in between? What's the mental challenges like?
I think first of all is to just have a lot of grace with yourself. Yeah. Right? I think we're really hard on ourselves because we used to be this, right? Like, look at me. We used to be that. Like, if I had gone out of the military and said, I'm going to be a speaker, there's no way. It would have been therapy. Like, therapy on stage is not a good thing, right? So, it's okay if you need therapy. It's okay if you need to talk it out. It's okay if you need to find a support group. It's okay if you needed, like for me, I needed quiet time within my life, but yet I worked full time. I was a single parent. I had commitments and family. So a lot of times we get so entrenched in the busyness that we don't give ourselves a break.
So did you like the silence? Did you like that the noise is going and then you realize, I've got to figure this out?
Not at first. I mean, at first, that's why it took so long, right? At first, I had to fill it. Like my thing was busyness. Fill it. Let's fill it. Right? And fill it with the busyness. And then I started realizing, okay, I needed like to settle my nervous system down. It was too, you said it in the introduction, adrenaline. Like I was like, ooh, military adrenaline, PT, going to this, flying this mission, doing this, staying up all night, flying night vision goggles, sleep, go to work. It was like this frenetic lifestyle of busyness. And I realized like that doesn't serve me. Now, don't get me wrong, because even now, if I go to meditate, I fall asleep. So
there we go.
I'm like, I think because in the military, we kind of learn how to fall asleep like that because you do sometimes. So it kind of it's like as soon as I get still and quiet, I tend to fall asleep. So that's not always a good thing. Don't do that while you're driving.
Or flying a military helicopter.
We don't allow that.
We're talking about these transitional times, and I'm wondering, how was the transition for the rest of your family? When you went through this, did they understand injury, retirement, changing career lanes, unknown certainty of what that career lane? Did they understand that, or did you kind of waffling through that with you?
Well, I think first so it was just me and my daughter, single parent.
Yeah.
So she was only 5, 6. So the only thing she knew is we had to move and I had friends. Like it was not, there was a lot of resistance.
Right. There you go.
She was not an adaptable child. Like struggle.
You can't leave, Mom. I won't let you.
I don't want to go. Well, the airplane's leaving. Right. So my orders are orders. I cannot change. So she would not have been good to do longer in the military. She was not adaptable. So there was a lot of angst and a lot of combat at home.
Yep.
the 5-year-old, which, not always a good thing.
You were not trained for that, though. That was not military training.
I would say parenting was not a military training. Parenting is the hardest job I've ever done. My extended family, my parents, my siblings, I don't think they really understood me even going into the military. So it was all my dad was in the Army before I was born and during Vietnam era.
Right.
They were like, what? Like,
well, what was it like when you said, by the way, I'm flying Blackhawks? What was that like?
I had it was a process. It was a process. So first you have to start the paperwork, and then you have to do all these tests. You have physical. I had to take the flight aptitude skills test. I had to take the a bunch of military testing. I had to all these aptitude tests. I had to take all these tests. I had to take a regular physical, and then I had to do the flight physical, and so I had to take all these tests, and then I had to do a whole bunch of paperwork, get all these letters of recommendation, everything. I mean, this was months to get all this process. And then I finally get everything together, and it goes to the Pentagon for a selection committee.
Right in my backyard, right here in D.C.
I mean, at the time, I was a military wife stationed at Fort Polk, Louisiana, working in a pizza place. But at my, I call him the starter husband now. So I thought he was on board with it. He said he was on board with it. Not so much later.
Reality's different.
The esoteric, broad idea is totally different from reality when it occurs. So he was for it. So I did all the months of paperwork, tests, process, during which I'm also working in a pizza place. And then my packet went to the Pentagon, non-selected. Was not selected the first time.
Ouch.
Now, non-selected, no spots available. Right? So, because what most of us don't know is that the military sells spots in our flight schools and different programs to our allies for their people to go through training. So
please repeat that for everybody here. We sell it to our allies?
Mm-hmm.
Never knew it.
Yep. So I went through school with pilots that were being from Norway, and one from UAE, and so their spots were secured. The German ones are really fun. They got to drink beer at lunch. Back to the flight line and fly. I'm like,
I was going to say, what's your flight time coming up?
Their regulations are different than ours. They're allowed to have one. So I was like, what? So yeah, it was a whole different thing. It was very interesting. So with all that, then I got nervous. Then I got really nervous because your packet only goes up twice.
Ooh.
So it's twice. So my packet went in the second time in December.
Yep.
This is December. Well, don't do any math, y'all. 1993. So just saying. So but I'm nervous, right? So my packet goes in, and then I get the letter, and mind you, no email.
Snail mail.
It's snail mail, fax, telex, right? So we get the telex on the little fax, printer with the holes on the side. So we get the telex, and that I got one of the 2 spots in the nation.
Wow, one of the 2 spots. Now, you were one of the first 30 women.
No. I'm. Let's get the math right.
Okay.
So mathematically, we have calculated that I'm probably one of the first 100 women that the Army has put through for Blackhawks.
Okay.
That's just pure mathematics. What we know is that there were less than, out of 200 to 250 pilots, there was only 1 woman. So less than, at a time when less than 1% of the pilots were women, I got one of those spots.
So looking back, reflecting on that, that's a pioneer. That's a big deal that may today get glossed over in all this. What's that like to recognize that position that you fill in history, really?
At the time I didn't know, right? So let's talk then and now, right? The time, no. I didn't know it was special. I was just like, yay, I got it. Like, I didn't know there was only 2 spots even. Like, all I knew is I got a spot. Like, I found out later that I
Right.
wanted 2 spots. So, then it's like, oh, it's this weight of responsibility that you have from that. Like, now I feel that weight of responsibility, knowing that I am a role model for
Yeah.
some, right? So I do have to set an example. I do need to be more careful and cautious of the things that I say and do, because I'm representing, um, I mean, not just women, but even the Army and pilots in my background. And so, making the better choices, the weight of those choices can feel heavy.
Now, you do speak to women. I mean, you're one of the top global leaders speaking on stage. What's it like to know that you do have that power, that mantle? It's a positive thing to step in and say, I can add value to these people's lives. But what's it like to really step into that?
Well, honestly, I speak more for men now than women.
Oh, really?
I do. I do. Once your fee gets to a certain level, some of the women's groups can't afford you anymore. So, just saying. So the budgets tend to be higher when you speak to everyone, not just women.
Right. Yeah.
So, so I do speak for a lot of male-dominated industries. I do share, and I wear one of my old flight suits. I took the zipper out and added rhinestones, so it's a rhinestone zipper. Cut the legs off, made it a little like a little frill ruffle at the
Is it
bottom.
zipper cooler?
A peplum, super cool. And so and then I wear rhinestone boots.
Mm-hmm.
I have rhinestone boots, and I have rhinestone bracelets I also wear. And the reason I do that is when I do speak to the male-dominated industries or a mixed group of men and women for a sales conference or a safety conference or anything, is I like the subliminal messaging that power can be pretty.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. Because I think a lot of times, like, there's so many assumptions and unconscious biases that we have that if I can help break them subconsciously just by being present,
Mm-hmm.
then I'll do that.
Have people seen you and go, that's not what I expected?
Oh, get this. It's like this. You were the helicopter pilot? Like, wait, you? Yeah, that's me.
What do your fellow military people say with this transition, with this makeover that you've gone through? Because at first, I mean, you retired because of medical reasons, and
And then I worked in a warehouse.
what's it like for them?
And then I worked in a warehouse for 5
Yeah.
years, right? So then I moved into the office and negotiated multi-million-dollar international contracts for a company. And so, little variety
Right?
in what I've done. Um, it's not like we didn't have Facebook, we didn't have LinkedIn,
No.
we didn't have any of, like, we barely had email right before, like, email was being brought out right before I left. And in
Mhm.
fact, the first job I got out of the military was from this new website back then called monster.com.
No, really?
I got my first job, the warehouse job. And the warehouse was all men, union shop, warehouse. And when they hired me, it was between me and a guy, and they were like, well, we like your background and we think you can handle them.
Wow.
So yes, I can, and I did. So, but it's, the things we go through prepare us and get us ready for
Right.
those steps of what we have to do.
We're recording this
Yeah.
midway through September. We just went through 9/11 again. Remember to 9/11. What's it like to be someone who's flown the helicopters, been involved in special missions operation? What's it like to reflect on 9/11 personally for you?
So I had just gotten out of the military of May of 2001.
Oh,
So when that happened, I vividly, I know all of us remember, like,
mhm.
where we were when we heard some of the news, whichever part of that horror,
Yeah.
right? So for me, I heard the news. They had a little bitty sport TV out in the warehouse that the warehouse guys would watch on their break, and they came and got me, and they're like, "Come see this." And, is this real? Is this
I mean, it didn't look real.
right? It looked like fake news. It looked like somebody had edited that in, right?
Yeah.
The first plane, or the second, especially the
The
second.
second plane, we saw that one live. My daughter was watching
We're
Sesame
watching
Street,
it.
whatever, and popped in. She goes, "Dad, why is the same movie on every channel?" And I'm like, "What?" And I stand there with her, realizing it's not a movie.
I mean, I think I would never want anything like that to happen again, right? But I will say did in that moment feel like it was a unifying moment. Our country is like a wake up call.
Yes.
I wish we could bottle that feeling and still have that today and go back to that unified feeling where we're all supportive of our country, even if we're not in support of the politics. So I talk about this, I will tell you part of the patriotism that's so personal to me.
Yes.
I attend the inauguration every single 4 years.
Wow.
No matter who is president. Let's just be clear. I don't do politics, right? Because to me, politics would affect my business, and I don't do it. So no matter who is president, I go to it's about the patriotic process.
Right.
It's about supporting our country. It's about supporting, whether I agree with them or not, the people that are making our government happen and supporting our right to free speech so that people can talk up against it. And, just everything like that, it adds such a weight and responsibility to how I do things. And like right now, there's so much polarization and there's so much blame and shame and everything. And the fact is, one of my favorite hashtags is hashtag patriotism before politics.
Oh, there we go. Everyone write that down.
Patriotism before politics. Like if we all care about what's best for the country, we just have different ways of getting there. I truly believe, other than a few criminals that are out there, but I truly believe most people don't wake up in the morning going, let's do something like hurtful today, right? Other than criminals, they do. But
believe the best in people.
Right. Just start with a belief in good intent. Like everyone brings the best they have with what they have.
So let's circle back. How did that help you with your career in the military? How did that attitude of the respect, the dignity for humanity, how did that help you maintain in the military?
Well, in the military, so we take the oath to support and defend our Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, right? So, I mean, that is mission. That is hard. That oath is not, I mean, now when I see other service members taking their oath, I tear up because it's so ingrained and deeply personal to me to still feel that way.
So when you're on stage in your career, from writing, speaking, everything, what is your mission today? What is your passionate mission that you want to get out to the world?
So it's actually in my next book that's coming out probably end of the year. I'm trying to get it out sooner. End of the year, first of the year is called Fly. First, lead yourself.
Ooh, self-leadership.
Boom. Right? But fly. And so in my speeches, I teach the audience how to fly a helicopter. So that's what I'm famous for. Right hand, left hand, feet. Get the whole room leaning in unison together in a rapport building shared experience. Yep. Everybody's all together. Right? They're talking about it afterwards. They're going home and talking about it.
That's great.
I have that kind of experience. And then at the end, after I, meet some objectives and what the client wants, whether it's sales, safety, leadership, motivation, whatever they need, at the end, I'm like, did I teach you how to fly today? It's like, well, what fly really means is to first lead yourself, because it's that personal leadership, personal accountability, personal responsibility, so rare now.
It's not being taught. Now, several weeks ago, we had another person on it from Singapore talking about self-leadership. That's their specialty, but I'm not hearing us teach it, demonstrate it, model it. So I'm glad to hear this again.
Yeah, I think we need to when we do it, when we exemplify personal leadership, we walk our talk, we lead when no one's watching, right? So do the things like this. It's the small things too. It can be teaching our kids, like when you go to a grocery store, you put the cart back. You don't leave it in the parking lot, right? When you, when you see garbage on the ground, well, it's not mine. Well, it's somebody, it's affecting the space I'm walking in. We call it on an airfield and military base and airport, a FOD walk, foreign object debris, right? So you see something, I'll pick it up and throw it in the garbage, right? So, just
opening a door for another person is incredible. You're right behind me, and the door closes, and you're like,
hello.
You do not see me. It's amazing. But you're right. The simple things get amplified, become bigger things to people, and it makes an impact in their everyday life.
But it's also how we teach our children.
Yeah.
Right? Our children learn by what we do, not what we say. Yeah. Oh, turn the other cheek, sticks and stones. We say all these things, but are we doing it?
Yes.
We're doing it in a way where they see it and realize that they want to be like us, right? Same thing goes at work, or for me on stage. Like, am I showing up the way I want to be and I want the audience to be? So we choose. These are all little tiny micro decisions that we make throughout our day that affect us every day.
But the lack of teaching of these micro decisions, of these best practices of life, life lessons, by not teaching these today, we are killing the generation behind us.
But what happens before we teach? Let's get real.
Yeah.
Right? What happens before we teach? We have to do it.
Yes.
So it starts with, as adults, as parents, not just parents, but at work, right? It starts with how we show up. Are we modeling the behavior we want our employees to have? Are we modeling the behavior we want our children to have? Are we modeling the behavior we want our spouse to have? Right? So are we modeling behavior and being who, again, it's coming right back to the, right? And having that awareness of who you are and how you want to be. So my question for everyone watching, listening, however you're absorbing this episode, the show, is, are you showing up the way you want to be?
Right.
Because you can't teach what you are not.
Right. No, it can't be a one-off. You got to go back to it and go back to it and go back to it, because people are watching, whether you want to admit it or not. People are watching, and I think we're screaming on the inside for someone to demonstrate what we're talking about. And we are begging for someone to demonstrate this stuff.
In one of my speeches, I put up the picture from Monsters, Inc. of the lady behind the counter that's like Oz.
Yeah.
I'm always watching, right? As somebody is. Even if it's cameras, like think about how much, oh my gosh, how much stuff is caught on camera now. Like, you leave your, I saw an interview yesterday with Taylor Swift said about media, and she's like, I know as soon as I walk out my door, somebody is watching me.
Yes.
Somebody is filming me. Somebody is either videoing or taking a picture. I know as soon as I leave my house. But the fact is, that could be true for every single one of us.
Well, that's part of my media coaching consulting, that deal. I tell everybody now, the cameras are everywhere. So what you are on stage, what you are in Walmart, what you are in the backyard with your kid at the soccer field, there's cameras everywhere, whether you like it or not. So who you are better be consistent.
That's right. And that comes into not being on autopilot, being aware, knowing, right from we talked about at the beginning, knowing who you are. And the fact is, if you're not comfortable in your own skin and you don't know who you are,
right,
that's what you need to figure out next.
Yeah, stop and find out.
Right. That affects everything else you do. It permeates throughout. It's part of, it's part of how you show up in life.
Yes. Elizabeth McCormick, before we wrap up here today, I want to make sure we get your website. And look at those muscles. Look at that. But high energy, great world-class speaker. What are they going to find on your website when they go there?
So just connect with me everywhere. I'm Pilot Speaker on everything social, and I'm Pilot Speaker is my main website that has my speaking information and things like that. You can find me on Amazon. You can find me everywhere. Really easy. So just connect with me. I would love to know, what did you get of value out of this show?
Elizabeth, thank you very much. But we're not done yet. Now we have some
There's
fun,
more.
some
Okay.
fun on Rock the Stage.
Wait,
We're gonna have a little bit of fun here.
wait, we weren't having fun before?
Oh, we're always having fun here. That's a guaranteed promise of the show. But I want to hear a couple long mission stamina. So, what was your go-to snack or ritual to keep your energy up, stay focused when you're on a long flight? Was there a go-to like Snickers bar or something that you had that it was going to help you maintain?
Honestly, you don't. It would be nothing, or maybe if anything, like some M&Ms, like peanut M&Ms that you
Yeah,
like one at a time and then wait. Because here's the thing: you don't want to, as a pilot, because we have huge trainings on nutrition and things, and yet a lot of the military pilots were, drinking coffee and then had a plug of chewing tobacco. And
yeah,
I don't drink coffee. I very rarely do. Like if I do anything, I might have a Coke, like if I need to. I'm driving now, but
right.
back then I didn't even do that. Like it was like it was water. And even then we wouldn't drink water when we were flying because there's no bathroom on a helicopter. So it's not convenient. So most of us pilots would purposely dehydrate ourselves a little bit.
Wow. Who's your dream passenger? I mean, you've flown generals, governors, congressmen, people we may not even know about. But if you could choose one person, living or dead, and I'm going to add in here fictional even,
Oh
who
my God.
would you like to take on a Black Hawk ride besides me?
How did you know that? You were number one. Who is on my like dinner party list? So we'll go with the dinner party list. Like the
Okay.
first person on my dinner party list was Amelia Earhart.
Oh, that would be how cool.
Yeah.
Elizabeth, thanks for being with us here today on Rock to Say. It's been a blast to have you. Finally got you here. Thank you for doing it too.
Thank you.
Rock the Stage show Sunday nights. We're back here with every Sunday night with a new adventure, a new conversation. But boy, now do you want to go fly a Black Hawk? Now do you want to go jump on helicopters and have a little fun after that conversation? Come back next week. We'll do it again. You never know who's going to show up, what conversations we're going to have, and how it's going to help you with your life, career, business. Maybe you are a speaker. Maybe you're in that transitional season. Hopefully this was helpful here tonight. We'll be back next week on Rock the Stage show. Until then, I'm the Trigger Responser. Have a great week.